All right, guys, today we're going to talk about understanding scripts. It's the third class in the Ignite Spark series. Hopefully everyone can see my PowerPoint okay. Pull up my facilitator guides here. All right, how was yesterday's session, guys? What did you guys think about lead generation with Wilson and Amanda and Davis?
It was amazing.
Thank those guys for participating and sharing their expertise and skills. What a great session that was. Anybody have any recaps or ahas? Any great, I guess, what's the best way to say it? Ahas? That's the best way to say it. From yesterday's class?
It just reminds me of the commercial from Nike, Just Do It. You know, we just got to get out there and make little short videos and get people seeing that we're realtors.
Right. Yeah, everyone there was taking positive actions every day. I know Wilson was very animated and deliberate in his
Truly,
presentation and demonstration that you must every day lead generate. And it's not always necessarily the heavy lifting of the phone and making dry calls. Not always. That's not all there is to lead generation, especially today, right? We have so many more avenues to be able to reach out to people between email, text messaging, instant messaging, Instagram, direct messaging, a million ways to reach out and start conversations, right? That's all we're looking to do. We'll lead generate, start conversations surrounding real estate, and then good things start happening for us. Any other ahas that anyone get inspired from yesterday? I know one of the, go ahead.
I got Haley to help me, and she's going to help me do a YouTube for some of Genesis stuff. So that's great.
Nice. Very nice. You know, one of the things that ahas that inspired me as well was the fact that, some of us have a slow start to our careers. So some people get right out the gate and start selling right away. Maybe they're lucky. Like I had my best friend wanted to buy a house the moment I got my real estate license. So I was able to sell one very quickly. Was it anything to do with my talent or abilities? No, I just let my best friend happen to buy a house, right? But nevertheless, the story that many of us face in our challenge, our first year, is that, and this isn't new for anyone, a lot of people don't get a sale their first year, right? But does that mean that you're going to be challenged the rest of your career? Does that mean that you'll never sell a house? That's not true, right? Because we have the examples here. We have, Wilson, and countless agents that are very successful today after being in the business a few years, but they had a slow start to their career because, let's face it, and this is a challenging business. The competition is very, very stiff, and we have to be good at what we do. We have to get better at conversations. And when you start your career, your ability to have conversations and direct those conversations are very different than those abilities will become a few years down the road as you have more practice, training, and opportunities to enhance those skills. So dialogue, your abilities is going to change over time. That's very relevant to our discussion today in understanding scripts. Now, your scripts, what do we think of? Well, the first thing that we hear about scripts, do we have any preconceptions? Anyone like to share?
Say that again, Mark.
Does anyone have any preconceptions around the term scripts or being scripted or having scripted presentations? Does anyone have any ideas to share around the idea of using scripts? Are we for it? Are we against it? This is actually a sales debate question.
I'm for it.
For it. Great.
Well, I'm for it till you get natural about it, right? I mean, it's no different. I think it's no different than being an actor, that if you are studying your lines, and then eventually, once you know the lines, you can put yourself into it and be more natural.
Sure. Absolutely. Practice, right? There's something that needs to be practiced to be perfected. Any other conceptions about scripts?
Does it also mean like scripting the emails so you can easily broadcast it to different people? Would that also be considering as a script or template?
You know, a template, yes. Right? A script is basically, it's a conversation. It's a direction of a conversation. And really it's more, I guess, being purposeful and having intentions around the conversations that you're directing. Because when we're trying to convey a message or convince people of something, right, we have to ask questions and then direct the conversation to the goals that we want. And that's what being scripted really is.
Got it.
Yeah, some of it, some people may think it's very rigid, right? Because what's our experience, especially with telemarketing? I know who gets telemarketing calls. I get telemarketing calls, right? You pick up the phone and the person is just talking, and then you try to say a word in edgewise, but they don't hear you. They just keep talking, right? Is that a script? Yes. Is it an effective script? I don't think so. Things like that kind of turn me off. So, you know, a lot of our conceptions with that comes with our experience, right? When people call us to sell us things, they're not necessarily very good at what they do. Nevertheless, they instill something in our head about being scripted. Any other conceptions about scripts? Does anyone have a pretty good understanding where we're trying to get to when we're talking about scripts, right? It's a way of just moving a dialogue forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it will be helpful, especially if someone is not like a sales nature, you know, just in order to break, how to bring up the subject. I think that is one of the challenges that I have. So I think through scripting will be really good practice.
Very good. That's true. Very good. Being scripted will help overcome some fears, right? It'll help you understand exactly where you're going in the conversation so that when you're in it, you're able to direct it where you want it to go. All right. So the secrets to what successful agents do, right, every day, right? Grow your business and run your business. And these are successful agents, what we do every day, right? This isn't what successful agents do sometimes, or what successful agents do every other Monday, right? This is what successful agents do every day. Number one, right? Lead generate for buyers and sellers. We're going to make listing presentations, make buyers presentations, preview real estate, and then do things in our business. And the goal is to do these things every day. So I would challenge all of you that we know that, hey, in the mornings we're learning and we're doing our Ignite over the next 30 days, and we're going to be making calls and lead generating. But then in the afternoon, right, that's when we're doing numbers 2 and number 3, right? We're going to make buyer presentations and listing presentations. So let's block that time out for when we're going to do those. And then when we're lead generating in the morning, right, we take our time. When we're lead generating in the morning, we can fill those appointment slots. So what successful agents do every day. And the goal of our time here is to model what successful agents do every day so we can show you guys, you know, how things are done. So today we're going to mostly focus on the left side, right? Lead generation for buyers and sellers, and then making the presentations for listings, making buyer presentations, and then in previewing real estate. And then in our running our business, right, showing buyer homes and negotiating contracts and transaction management between closings. And this is really where we're going to use a lot of the scripts and skills that we need to move into transactions and then move transactions forward, right? We're not only scripted to generate leads, but then when we're showing homes, there's methods to the madness to help you be more successful. And when you're out making your presentations, right, to actually get the listing signed or get the buyer broker agreement signed. So all the Ignite materials, by the way, thank you, Jacqueline. They're all on the internet. If you guys are, hopefully you guys already have them downloaded, but they are all here for you guys. So there's a facilitator, there's a participants guide. Hopefully you guys have that, because we're going to need that a little bit, actually in a few minutes. Start some of the exercises that we're going to work on. So today we're going to talk about, obviously, the purposes of the scripts. We're going to go over the benefits of using the scripts. We're going to do some role modeling and helping you guys how to memorize scripts, some of the techniques that are, I guess, promoted through Keller Williams. Very good memorizing techniques. We'll do a recap, an aha of our breakthroughs today. And we'll go through the daily success habits at the end, the 10 fours, and then we'll get into practice and lead generation. So in the big picture, right, the scripts are going to help you generate leads, right? They're going to help you uncover motivations. They're going to help you identify objections and how to overcome those objections. They're going to help you close the deals, and then also speak in terms the customer understands. And I think this is very important, because sometimes when we're wrapped into what we do and our expertise, there's assumptions that are made that the other party that we're communicating to has those similar experiences or expectations. And that's not necessarily the case. So sometimes you really have to simplify what we're expressing, because it's one thing when you're talking to, let's say, another real estate agent about an opportunity, because we speak the lingo and whatnot. It's a whole different thing when you're trying to express an opportunity to maybe a first-time home buyer who may not have the same ideas or may not understand the terminology or all the acronyms, if you will. Any questions, guys, on these? No? Okay. So if you guys have questions, just by the way, feel free to hit the chat box, and I'm kind of monitoring that. Yeah. And let's see here. Sometimes if I put that chat box on the screen, it blocks it. And can everybody see my whole screen? Or is there anything over? If there's something blocking, last time I guess something was blocking.
Nope.
If everything's good. Okay, good. Okay. So understanding scripts, the benefits of understanding scripts and knowing how to process the conversation is important. It's important to understand the right questions to ask that'll help people get down the process. And part of the scripting is knowing which questions to ask, right? So some of the questions that we might want to see, maybe in an open house, right? Did you find everything you were looking for? It's an opening question to help people get into a conversation, right? Go ahead, look around. Please let me know if I can help you. Or I see you admiring that big screen TV. Are you looking to get one for the big game this weekend? Have you guys heard these phrases before?
Yes.
Openers that people, go ahead, I'm sorry. Someone was sharing. Okay. So basically these are typical opening lines, right? That we're trying to build rapport, that we're trying to open up and start a conversation with a prospect, right? If someone's out looking for a home, you're hosting an open house. After they've come through the house, maybe you want to ask, hey, did you find everything you were looking for? Is there any parts of the house that you missed? You know, sometimes people say, oh, is this a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom? Where's the 4th bedroom? Just trying to open up the conversation so you can start a dialogue about whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? If you're hosting an open house, you're looking for to open people up, to build rapport, to help them to hopefully earn their contact information so that you can follow up with them later, right? Things of that nature. Any other kind of common, you guys, opening lines or opening scripts that anyone would like to share? Someone had their hand up.
Does everybody know that they have to unmute themselves, or are they in the chat box?
Thank you, Yvette. Yeah, by the way, everyone's muted, but I think everyone can unmute themselves on their own. It's a little microphone icon next to your name. Click that and then talk away. Just don't forget to click it off when you're done talking. Or you can order coffee for all of us. That'd be fun too. Okay. Any other kind of opening lines? Right. It's a good idea to have some of these opening lines if you guys are going to be in conversations, to have something to help kind of get into a dialogue. Now, Maureen says she asks about their business and how it's going. Oh, Maureen is a commercial agent as well, so that's relevant to commercial agents, right? You can ask people about their experience if you're out talking to them at homes. What are some of the things that maybe we can open with? Let's get, what's real today, right? Are we even doing open homes right now? We're not, right? We're not really door knocking either. We can't leave flyers behind, but what can we do? What can we do? We can do maybe virtual open houses. We can lead generate online, maybe direct message people. So what are maybe some good opening lines or maybe some good things that we can brainstorm? What's a good icebreaker? Anyone have any ideas?
I think everyone asks what's going to happen, that especially a lot of the non-port cities. So we have all these conversations with commercial people where there's 30%. Mark Hughes from commercial said there's 30% less transactions this year compared to last year, which is actually keeping the demand up a little bit. So it's interesting. So I think they want to know whether they should sell at all. A lot of people are stuck.
So they have questions about the market.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe ask, hey, do you have any questions about the market, real estate market, while I'm here? Or is that too fast, too direct?
I think that's more general than what I said, so I think it's better.
Any other ideas? Right. So, I mean, when we're talking about the scripts, right, we have various steps that we go through, right? We have the opening lines and then the benefits of what we're trying to accomplish, right? So when you understand what you're trying to talk about, you can help people go down a path, right? If we're talking about a home, if they're visiting your virtual open house, maybe ask them if they have any questions, if they have any concerns about the neighborhood, and then go into a dialogue and answer those conversational questions, demonstrate your expertise, let them know about the benefits of working with you, right? And then close them on an appointment to maybe learn more about buying a home, or a listing appointment if they have a home that they're looking to sell, right? Who goes to open homes? Buyers and sellers, right? The neighbors are going to come through. Who's going to visit your virtual open house? Right? So if you're inviting people from a neighborhood, you can still invite, from Facebook or whatever. You're going to come across people that are buyers and sellers, right? So we want to go ahead and think about these things and make sure that we have an idea, a script in mind as to how we're going to progress our activities forward, no matter what type of lead generation you're going to do. And as far as being good at it, right, the best thing to do is practice, right? Well, how do we get better at anything? Whether it's, riding a bike or learning how to write computer programs or talking to people and selling homes, right? The practice and training. So we have to learn how to practice our role playing, practice our scripts, and we do that with role playing and role modeling. And it's something that I would recommend maybe in your off time. You know, we do these things. I've seen them in the calendars, scripts practice, where some agents get together in the conference room. Now we can use Zoom, get together in a Zoom call and just go back and forth with a few practice lines to get warmed up for whatever lead generation activity you're going to do over the next, following hours or whatnot. All right. Now, one thing that I guess some of the challenges that folks have is limiting beliefs. What do you guys think about limiting beliefs? Any ideas on those concepts? What's a limiting belief?
Something that stops us from something that's not real, but we think it's real in our head. It stops us from doing things that we need to be doing or want to do.
Right. And how can a limiting belief hold you back from achieving what you want?
It plays on our fears.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I said it plays on our fears and makes things seem bigger than they make roadblocks seem bigger than they are in our minds.
That's true. And how can that hold you back from achieving what you want?
If it keeps you from doing the actions, doing the activities, then it keeps you from generating business.
Right. There's activities that keep you from doing the things that are necessary to do to get the things that you want. Right. Right. Limiting beliefs are negative thoughts that basically they hold you back. So how can we work together to get through some limiting beliefs that we might have? Do we have any limiting beliefs? Do we have any ideas what they might be? You guys have your participation guides on page 4. I can stop the share screen here and switch to that. So I have a participation guide here. One second, guys. I'm going to get that participation guide open here. All right. All right, so on page 4 of our participation guide, there's a little exercise. And we can go through it together. There's quite a few of us on our call here. So let's go through it together and talk about it. Need one of those big computer monitors. Page 4 quickly. Sorry, guys. Having a little technical difficulty here. Unfortunately, they don't have this exercise on my side. Okay. So removing our limited beliefs. We're going to write down some limiting beliefs that have held you back from making calls or whatnot. And then for each limiting belief, we're going to record a way that maybe you have a plan to remove that limiting belief, right? What are some limiting beliefs that we have that might hold you back from making calls? Anyone want to participate? Care to share?
I'm bothering them.
You're bothering people. You're bothering people. It's a good one. Any others?
There are not enough inventory is all there for sales.
Not enough inventory to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Sometimes you think that they like the local agent or they're going to go with the big team. You know, I can say the Collier's team because it's from Collier. So getting over that.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's work with those. Let's work with those. Number one, we're bothering them. We're bothering them. Is that true, by the way? Are we really bothering them? If we are bothering them, what can we do or what can we think about so that when we're making that call, we're not a bother? What's not a bother? Let's think about that.
Try and bring something of value to them.
We're trying to bring something of value, right? What are we bringing of value? What value are we bringing?
Well, our
Well,
experience.
let's identify, first of all, who are we calling? Well, the first people we're going to call, right? Let's say we're Spark. We're calling their database and people we already know, right? What item of value do you have for those, for people you care about?
For me right now, it's been more care calls, calling with the intent to just care about them.
Right? Very good. All right, what's valuable? Your love, your concern for their well-being?
Resources.
We're not calling strangers, right? Right now we're calling people that we know. So when you call your best friend, when your best friend calls you, is that a bother?
No,
And why not?
because we know each other.
You know each other, right? So you're calling someone you know, or we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about real estate necessarily right away?
No.
No, we're going to talk about what? We're going to talk about life. We're going to catch up. So is there value to that?
Sure.
Right? You're going to express your care and your concern. Can we help ease their minds in one way or the other? Is there something we can do to benefit the person that we're calling? Can we offer something of benefit, of value?
Mark,
Yes.
I have one fear that I used to do a lot of open houses. I have a lot of data, but I never connected, means I never able to keep a contact with them. And if I try to call them now, I have a fear that they could have forgot me, and is it okay directly I go and call them?
Okay. That's a valid fear as well, right? But are we calling, again, the purpose, right? We have a lot of uncertainty right now, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
We're in uncertain times these days. And when
We froze.
I can't hear.
I think
I
it's
can't
got
either.
ease
disconnected.
that anxiety, can't we? By, reaching out and showing that we care, first and foremost, and then identifying if they have an issue. Right? Are you worried about the value of your home? Are you worried about catching COVID? What are their concerns? Do you know anyone that's, have these conversations with people because you care,
Yes.
right?
What about someone, sorry to interrupt,
No,
I'm new to real estate. I came from technology background. And one of my biggest concern is like suddenly people look at me, oh, she's been in the tech for years. And the people that I used to know, I don't know how to start conversation, and I haven't talked to them for a while. And then what should I tell them? Just tell them that I switched the field?
It's a good start. It's a good start, right? We have a script. We have the Ford script, right? So you talk about their the family, the occupation. You ask people questions about how they're doing. It's only natural for people to reciprocate questions, especially when you're talking about people you care about, right? You're not calling strangers. If you're calling a stranger, then the conversation is going to be different because they're not going to want to tell you about their family. They don't care about you. Does that make sense? So it's a different dialogue. When you're talking with people you know, they already know you. They care about you, about them. So when you ask them questions, especially life questions, it's natural for them to reciprocate those questions. When they reciprocate those questions, then you have your opportunity to go into the script for sharing with them what you do and what you're up to next, and how badly you need their help. But you know, with the dialogue, right? So once you have an understanding of what to say, it'll be maybe a little easier to go through and start making those calls, right? If we're offering something of value, are we a bother?
Hey, Mark, it's Melissa.
Yeah.
So I have a limiting belief around calling my my sphere, mostly, you know, kind of, I don't want to say closer friends and family, but kind of maybe at arm's length there. You know, I call and I do this have this really amazing conversation through Ford and caring. And then the time or the opening comes to ask for business or ask for that referral. And my limiting belief jumps in and tells me that they're going to click in their brain of, oh, the real reason she's calling, you know, that kind of diminish the whole, like, I was calling to care and connect, but then once I bring business up, that they're going to feel that that was the whole reason that I made the call to begin with. Okay.
Is that a bad thing? Obviously, the business side could be viewed as a bad thing. How can we make it not a bad thing?
I have a comment. I mean, I would say maybe if that, you can just set up a follow-up conversation, just come out and meet for drinks or something for social distancing. Then maybe you can kind of reconnect and then, you know, go more in depth.
Absolutely.
Chat more.
Absolutely. Take it to a higher level conversation. Sure. That's one way.
Mark.
Yes, Grace.
Yes, I have one limiting belief. I'm afraid I will waste my time. I don't get result.
One more time. I didn't understand.
My limiting belief is I'm afraid my time is wasted. Nobody's there, or they don't want to talk at the time. I'm wasting my time.
I see. Is that because for making the cold? Are you making cold calls? Are you making warm calls? What kind of calls are you making?
Combination of everything.
Why would you think it's a waste of time? Because the result is not there? What's the reason it's a waste of time?
Because I'm afraid maybe they're busy at their work, their daily life. I may not get the right time to touch them, and I may or may not know them.
Well, if it's the right time, how can we overcome that? Can we ask a simple question when we call? Hey, is this a good time to talk for a minute? Get their permission? Would that help? Yeah. Hey, this is Grace from Keller Williams. Do you have a quick minute to talk about real estate? They say, no. It's just a cold call, right? Cold calls, they're different than warm calls. The cold calls, you have to expect that 90% of the people are going to hang up on you. That way, when the 20% that answer the phone, they give you the life to keep going. It's very, it's a different game.
So Mark, you're saying.
But as far as, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry. So you're saying you started with asking permission. Do you have a quick minute? This is who and who. Do you have a quick minute? And then introduce your conversation?
Yes. Does that make?
This is just make it smoother to begin with. But if they do, yeah.
That's it. And just to understand that if it's a cold call, remember that what your expectations are. Right? When you're cold calling, you have to smile when they punch you. Is this what it is?
Yeah. But eventually, yeah, if my experience, eventually, in beginning, it's a cold call. If I call them once a month, it's warm now.
After that, right.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah. I do notice in the beginning, it's a cold, right? But you follow up regularly once a month. You kind of touch base. Hey, how's that going? And like yesterday, I made a couple this kind of call, and they will open up, telling me what's happening in their life. I'm listening. I'm just listening, talk. Okay.
So then again, is that belief true then? Was it a waste of time if people are engaging and listening and talking?
In the beginning, I think my limiting belief for the cold call in the beginning, it is waste time. Of course, after I talk with them 3 times, I met them once, it's a matter of time. I just need to keep the mind share.
All right. Very good. Now,
Hey,
what
Mark.
about the bothering question? Back to Melissa's question. I don't know if we fully addressed and finished with that limiting belief, because I think that's a powerful one, because I know that other people have that as well, right? I'm bothering people. How do you know? I mean, how can we overcome that limiting belief? What are some things we can do to make our action of lead generating not a bother? Let's think about that. Right? What do you think about expansion? Amanda, please.
Oh, sorry. So I think what Yvette mentioned, like adding value, and when you're calling your sphere or your past client, truly like be genuine, check in to see how they're doing and take notes from the last conversation. Because like when you do your quarterly calls, and sometimes the conversation can go up to, 15 minutes or so, but then it's quality conversation that they wouldn't have with other people because of the relationship that you have with them. So I used to have the same limiting beliefs as Melissa, but then I just kind of changed the way that I asked for referrals. So like at the end of the conversation, it's an indirect, just saying like, as always, if you hear of anyone who wants to buy or sell, please keep me in mind. Like a more soft way. And then sometimes I would change it up too by asking them like an open-ended questions, like not like a yes or no, but like, who do you know from work that might be in the market now or the near future? Because I think what I found is that a lot of people feel like they have to buy now to even connecting with that person. But I think you kind of have to explain to them that buying and selling can take anywhere from, 6 months to a year or so. So it's never too early to be introduced.
Very good. Absolutely.
I have to agree with Amanda.
Thank you, Grace. Any other thoughts on how to, right? They already got a lot of calls. Or change your mindset before the call. I'm providing a service today and helping the people I care about. Very good. That's very good, Kenny. All right. One of the ways we can overcome those limiting beliefs is with affirmations, right? Because if you have a good understanding of why you're, a purpose of what you're doing and why you're doing it, you can convey that a little bit better. And the services that you provide are valuable, right? And the conversations that you're going to have with people are valuable because you have expertise in something that is very near and dear to most people, right? The real estate for most is the single greatest investment financial vehicle tool there is in this world. So many people rely on their real estate for their familial wealth, for the security of their families, right? So we're providing information directly related to something that's incredibly important in people's lives. So are you bothering people when you're giving them updates about what's significantly affecting their financial future? And if you think you are, why is that? And then what can you do to overcome that? Right? Why is that a bother? Why do you feel, do you not feel that you have enough expertise to have the value? Because if that's true, and it could be true, you may be brand new, you maybe never sold a house, or you maybe haven't had the experience to really talk about the market. Well, guess what? That's something that you can change, right? That's something that we can overcome with education. That's something we can overcome by learning from more experienced agents, asking them questions, and then we can go back to our spheres and we can ease their anxieties over the market. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so?
Makes sense.
All right. Limiting beliefs are basically negative. And it's fear, right? False evidence appearing real. That's fear. So once we understand what these are, we can brainstorm and overcome them just by focusing on them, right? What you focus on expands. So if the negative thought is, oh, I'm bothering people, then you just ask yourself, well, what can I do so it's not a bother? If I'm door knocking, what can I do so it's not a bother? How can I make it awesome for off the couch and talk to me? Do I carry some cards with me? You know, hey, I want to hand out these. I'm going to give people $10 for being great to me when I knock on the door. Whatever it is you can do to kind of trick yourself to help overcome. Make sense? All right.
Okay.
Hopefully we have some skills to help remove our limiting beliefs.
I don't.
$20 in the potato bag.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought that might be yours.
Oh, don't forget to mute yourselves after we're done contributing. But thank you for contributing. All right. So what are the benefits of using scripts, guys? What do you think? We've talked about it a little bit enough already. Right. So figuring out how to go forward and trying not to be annoyed by the friend client who says they don't want to pay a commission, has no respect for an analyst but wants to obtain analysis trends after you've put time spending together a commercial package. Interesting. Well, it's true, guys. You know, a lot of that stuff, it's all about education and educating people. People are going to ask you about your expertise and they're going to ask you for information. And when you relay that information, that's when you have your chance to overcome their objections and understand what they're looking for, right? It's a commission objection is going to be something that we really need to master, because this is something that is going to come up in all your conversations, whether you're going to talk to new buyers, whether you're talk to new sellers, right? Nobody wants to pay for service. Everyone wants something for free. How do you get it so that you find that your service is valuable and that they want to pay you a commission? How can we do that? Right. So we have to expand on that. I understand maybe it's the way that we present the information. Maybe we can change that.
Mark,
And a lot of that stuff too is, you know, sometimes you're going to provide service for people and they're going to take your service and they're going to do with it. Maybe they'll work with you, maybe they won't. But if you're providing things of value on a regular basis, a lot of that's just practice. So if you're practicing on someone, they're not always going to work with you, but then you take that experience and it helps you convert the next person, right? So it's never a waste of time, right? We're always putting these packages together and expressing our expertise to hopefully get business. And if that person doesn't directly work with us because they have whatever hiccups they have, maybe they'll refer us business. But ultimately, the big thing that you have to understand is how to ask the right questions so you can derive what needs to be derived, right? Is the commission the problem? And when we're overcoming objections, right, the first step to overcoming any objections in any type of close, guys, is to isolate that objection, right? Isolate it so that, hey, is the commission the only reason you're not going to hire me today to solve your real estate problems? Other than commission, is there any other reason why you wouldn't work with me or commit to being with me today?
That's good.
Okay, so that way you eliminate every other possibility, because a lot of it's not necessarily the commission, right? It's definitely, it may be something else that we have to derive to. Maybe they don't value us enough that we have to re-explain our value proposition and why involving us in the transaction is going to be a benefit to them, how they're going to make more money with us involved, right? Once you get scripted and better at that, then you'll be very good at overcoming that. And you won't have the fear of putting your information out there, because, you know, some people will take it, some people won't. You have to get good and scripted at converting into the business. So the commission question is going to be big. Isolate it and then understand what they're looking for. Why is it important? What is it about the commission? And then you have to express to them that how your involvement is going to bring them more. That's it. Someone's buzzing. Does anyone have is that from a question? No, I don't think so.
Oh, Mark, I was going to add, I forget who was talking this. They're from tech. I didn't see. But I think it's the same thing. They're used to you being in a different role. I was a court reporter, and it's like, well, what does that have to do with this? But it's actually pretty analytical on contracts. And so I guess it's a way to have to relate why it's valuable. And Hilda said one thing, when I mentioned it to her, she said, you know, the cost of the commission isn't the cost, the price. You know, the cost of the commission could increase the percentage of the price. They word it differently, and I don't think I could say it better than I did just now. But the cost of they're worried about this price that they're paying, and explain it goes to really, there's two agents, it goes to two brokers and two agents, and explain how it works a little, and that it, you know, we all have a business, but we're doing analysis for you, which increases your potential, you know, your offers.
There's a commission cost, and then there's a cost of sales, and most people confuse.
That's it, Yvette. That cost of sales, I couldn't. Thank you.
All right. Well, cost of sales is hard to find, right? Commission cost is also. It's a cost of doing business for businesses, of course. And then, you know, we need to earn the commission to get paid, so we can't work for free. Let's see here. So, I mean, do we understand the benefits of being scripted? Right? They build your confidence when you know what to say, when to say it. And then they allow you to stay focused in the conversation in the present. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Has anyone had any, I mean, have you had any experiences when using scripts? Or what do you guys think is what's the most important benefit of learning a script or being scripted? What do you guys think?
For me, it builds my confidence because I already know what I'm going to say. You know, I'm comfortable with what I'm going to say because I've practiced my scripts.
Gives you the familiarity with the dialogue and the conversation that you're going to have.
Same with me. It's the familiarity of scripts. I know that for me, if I don't know what to say, or if I'm talking to someone the first time, I tend to mumble and I tend to stutter because I'm trying to think of things to say. But if I know my scripts, then I don't have to worry when that anxiety translates into me being able to articulate myself better.
Very good. Yeah, when you already know what to say, you can have a much smoother presentation. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So how to use script. On page 5 of our participant guide, there's some discussions about, actually, I think we got a video that we're going to work with here. So hopefully this time, we're going to get this video to work. Where's my video? It says if you click the slide, it'll play the video. Anyway. All right, let's just go to page 5 of our participant guide. I'll click it over here. For some reason, the video is not in the PowerPoint. All right. Let's go around the video. I'm gonna try to launch this thing one more time. There we go. All right, I got the video up. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna put it up here on the screen. You guys hear it?
No.
Yeah, let's try it one more time.
In the meantime, if somebody could, Olivia or Jennifer, if you could.
You guys can't hear it, can you?
Can you respond?
Can you guys hear the video?
No.
No.
No. Do you guys see the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You see
no,
the
I don't
video,
know.
but you can't. Okay,
No,
so
actually, no video.
No.
no video. Okay. Let's try again.
Olivia or Jennifer, if you could respond to the question about the participation guide in the chat.
Hmm. Let's try. Audio?
No.
No audio still?
Nope.
No audio.
All right, I'm going to try one last thing. If that doesn't work, then we're just going to move on. Sound?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you.
Okay. There we go.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent of the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking us that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there, ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo, oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
All right. So you guys at least heard the video.
Absolutely.
You at least heard the video, which should be good. Hopefully most of you guys also saw the video. But I'll take just hearing the video. That's good. All right. Any ahas? What are some of the benefits of asking questions versus telling in a conversation, guys? What do you guys think?
You find out about the client, and that's going to help you, get to the results that you want.
Right? Hey, do people like talking about themselves? They do, right? In general, I think people do. So if you start asking questions and people start talking about themselves, they like that. They might start to like you. That's going to be important for us to do business with them down the future, right? No one does business with people they don't like. How do you get people to like you? Ask them questions about themselves and pay attention to the answers. It's very simple. Life's not that complicated. Right? Any other benefits to asking questions that we can come up with?
Put you in control of the conversation.
It puts you in control of the conversation. Absolutely.
It also helps
funny.
steer. It also helps you steer to the answer that you're looking for.
Help you steer to looking for when you're at it. Absolutely. Any other benefits? Right, you want to control the conversation. You want to know where things are going. You want to make sure that you're not wasting your time. Right, it was funny. Sometimes I read our Facebook groups. People post their trials and tribulations. And one person was complaining about, hey, they spent 25 minutes giving this huge presentation, and the person was very receptive, and it was all great. And then they started asking questions, and the first thing they wanted to do, the most important thing, was to violate our code of ethics, right? Hey, I need an agent to give me the code so I can get into the house. Most important thing for me. It's like, well, dude, why'd you spend a half hour explaining your value proposition when if you could ask the question, hey, I need someone just to let me into houses. I got 20 family members. I have all these big problems that most agents don't want to handle. Like if you ask the question instead of giving a half-hour presentation, that you would have known this probably someone you don't want to work with. You're going to find that out in 10 seconds. You don't want to find that out in 30 minutes. Does that make sense? Kind of ask the benefits, ask the questions to be, because remember, folks, you know, people are interviewing you for your job, but just as much as they're interviewing you, you have to be interviewing them as well. You know, if you're spending your time lead generating, there's only going to be a certain amount of times appointment slots available. There's only a certain number of buyers you're going to work with, right? How are you going to identify, is this the person that's going to be right for me? Is this person going to be right to take up a half hour of my time? But you have to ask the questions. Now, what are some things that you can do in a conversation to show the other party that you're truly listening?
Repeat back what they're saying or summarize.
Very good. Very good. Oh, so you want to move to that? What about, like, they had a good example. Kenny, go ahead.
Oh, ask follow-up questions to that answer.
Follow-up questions. Absolutely. Anything else? No? Repeat yourself, follow-up questions. Those are good. Any, how does tone of voice or body language affect the conversation? Does it affect the conversation? Of course it does. But how? What do you guys think? Does your tone and body language affect the conversation?
It does. You have to
How,
look engaged.
you have to look like you're engaged, right? You want to make eye contact with the people that you're talking to, right? If you ask someone a question and then you're off looking into space, or you're looking at the monitor, the computer screen, you pull out your phone. Is that a conversation that's going well? Probably not, right? If you're in a conversation with someone and they're looking around doing, you know, not paying attention or picking up their phone, how does that make you feel? So tone of voice and body language definitely do affect the conversation, don't they? What can we do to help ourselves be in the right mindset to have a good tone and have good body language, especially like today, in the challenging times that we're working with now, right? Are we necessarily in front of people? Or are we doing things via Zoom and phone? And when we do things via Zoom and phone, I mean, are we always dressed like we're at a listing or presentation? Are we always in the mindset? And I would challenge you guys, if this is, you know, if we're Zooming and we're communicating with our clients, you know, it's really easy to roll out of bed and put on your pajamas and throw on your Zoom. But I would challenge you to get dressed, even if you're not even going to leave the house. But if you're going to make business calls, I challenge you to be in business attire and have a business mindset and have you know, a presentation of yourself so that you're able to be professional, act professional, and work, right? I know myself, when I'm dressed properly, I'm more apt to be professional in my dialogue. Now, you don't have to put a suit on, but a little more than a t-shirt maybe sometimes when making calls, just for your benefit, if it helps you. If it doesn't help you, if you do great in your pajamas, then do great in your pajamas, whatever works. But tone of voice and, you know, language do affect conversations, right? So I think we have to be mindful of that, and then be mindful when we're talking with others, right? So what about some consequences, right? What are some consequences if we're not scripted? All right, memorization and practice leads to internalization of scripts. But if we're not scripted, what happens? If we don't know what to say, when to say it? Is there a consequence to it?
We could say the wrong things. For me, I tend to babble, and it just comes across being unconfident and that I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. Very good point, right? If you babble, if you're unconfident or unsure of what you're saying, then people have the questions, right? Hey, how long have you been in business? If you're confident in your presentation, they'll never ask that question. I mean, what's our average commission, guys? 25 grand? It's a pretty negative consequence if we lose an opportunity. 25 grand every opportunity, at least. Any other negative consequence? Yeah. Hey guys, sorry about that.
Oh.
I'm back. I had a little technical glitch. My Wi-Fi turned off. But we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Everything back. All right.
All right, the party continues. Let's go.
The party continues. Jackie, can you do me a favor? Can you make me a host again? Because I can't screen share unless you do.
Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, there we go.
There we go. All right. All right. So memorization and practice leads to internalization of the script, right? So how do we memorize our scripts? Here's some techniques, right? We're going to read the first sentence of the script out loud 5 times, right? Then we're going to read the same sentence 5 times while smiling. You guys ever read a question while smiling? It kind of changes the way we're perceived, the way the dialogue comes out, right? Read the second line of the script out loud 10 times while smiling, and then try to say the script from memory. Recite the 2 sentences 10 times with a smile, and then add a script 1 sentence at a time, and then repeat it 10 times. Repetition, repetition, repetition. The more you repeat it, the faster or the better you get at it. So the 6-step process, obviously we're practice the script over and over again until you have them memorized. Do you guys have any other memorization techniques that anyone would like to share? Other than basic repetition, repetition, repetition? Right, we have our acronyms like FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dream. But when we have the process down, right, and we know what we're going to say, it's easier to listen to our associate that we're talking to. Melissa, did you have something to share?
Oh, I wasn't sure if I unmuted. Yeah, and when I used to go to acting classes, we would memorize the script, but we would still find ourselves kind of fumbling or tripping over the lines or coming off ingenuine. So we would do a exercise where we would do the script as some really ridiculous character or with like a crazy accent. And what we found is that it would kind of get you out of your head about the script itself, and it would become more like play. And then you have this realization that you actually already know the words. You've already put the time in to memorize it. And it kind of helped to break that barrier of, you know, kind of not realizing that you have it memorized.
Very good. So you kind of associate or disassociate with the accent or a character, right? And then it'll help. Very good. It's kind of like doing it while smiling, right? You're focused on the smile and you're talking about it as well. It's kind of a very similar effect. And guys, I mean, there's only one way to master these things. Practice, 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 practice. You know, you may want to time block 30 minutes or so out of a day before you get into your calls, and pick a partner. Maybe find an associate in the office that you can work with for a few minutes and go through some of those scripts before you get on the call and start talking to people. It'll get you warmed up. It'll get your voice warmed up. Right? Sometimes early in the morning, I know my voice is, I need to talk for a good 10, 15 minutes before my real better diction comes out. The jaw needs to loosen up a little bit. So take a partner and practice the scripts that you plan on talking about. Right now we're mostly focused on if we're you know, launching our business or relaunching our business is our database calls. So we're going to practice calling people that you know. Go through the Ford script. Ford script's great because it's universal. I mean, you can go through somebody with a Ford script today, you can call them next week and do the same script. And it's still new, it's still applicable in a way. Does that make sense? All right. So the best way to do this, obviously, is to practice, practice, and practice. Now, we have the tools available for you guys, a variety of scripts in the toolkit. Let's see if we can't get in there. I can show you here. The Ignite Lab materials. So you guys can still see the screen here. The participant guide is going to have your scripts in there so that different things that we can practice. Now, one thing we do want to touch base on real quick is the do not call list. That is a real thing. Now, one thing about the do not call list, we are subscribed to the registry, and you want to make sure if you're cold calling people that you're scrubbing against the list. But if you're calling people you know that are in your database, it doesn't apply. If you're calling to people that have inquired about your services in the past 3 months, it doesn't apply. And if you're talking to people that you've actually done business with in the last 18 months, it doesn't apply. So if you've sold somebody a house a year ago, you haven't talked to them, you haven't called them, and they're on the do not call list, it's okay. You can still call them because you've done business with them in the last 18 months. Obviously, if someone makes the specific request to say, hey, take me off your list, at that time, then you can remove them from your list and remove them from your database, right? We want to have a good database that we can rely on. And most of that is having an accurate database of people that we want to talk to. It does me no good to say, hey, I have 500 people in my database, of 200 people in that. If 200 out of those 500 people don't know who I am or what I'm talking about when I call them, right? Or they don't want to hear from me. They'll never do business with me, right? Having those names there does me no good. You want to have a good, accurate representation in your database of people that want to do business with you. That'll help you plan your business and help you achieve your goals. So we want to update your database, call and follow up. And I'm going to scroll down here to find scripts. All right. So we have some positive affirmations. Guys, this is in your toolkit. You guys should have access to this information. And this is the Ignite Toolkit script book. So a little positive affirmation to help that phone become a little lighter. I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. Right? I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. Say that 3 or 4 times before you make your calls. And it's true, because if you are coming from contribution, you have a genuine interest in the people that you're going to talk to, they will welcome your call. Right? If you're talking to people, you're going to talk to people, your contacts, or talk to people that are referrals. Here's a script here for contacts. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was great to catch up. It's great to catch up with you and let you know what I've been up to with my business. I'm really thrilled to be with Keller Williams Realty, and I just want to let you know that I'm available to you at any time. I can be an asset or a resource if your family or friends need service. Please call me whenever a question or need comes up. I'll stay in touch. I appreciate you, and I wish you all the best. All right, handwritten notes. Oh, you know what? That's what that is. So when you use the scripts to make the calls, you make your calls. After your calls, you're going to make your 10 handwritten notes. So your handwritten notes, you're going to summarize your call and send it out. If you're calling on a referral, again, you summarize the call and send out the card. We put this compliance do not call list to make sure you guys are aware. Nobody wants to be fined. And actually, it takes a while. You really have to be a nuisance. So just be mindful of people you call. If someone has objecting to it, then take them off your database and move on. So as we get into some scripts here, right? If you're new to real estate, this is a Ford script that you're going to go through. Right, the Ford script is the first person of the dialogue. How's your family? Are you still working at wherever you're working at? Are you still enjoying doing what you do? And did you ever pursue that dream? All right, we want to have people, when we're doing these calls, it would be a good idea to have command open too, so you can take notes. You're going to input the person in command, so you have them in command. On a smart plan. And then you're going to take notes on their answers to the questions. So the first time, you may ask them what they do for a living. The second time, you already know what they do for a living. You've taken the note. You can ask them about their job, right? After you go through the Ford, there's going to be times where you obviously reciprocate the questions. It gives you the opportunity to share with them your intentions, for the calls, right? So I'm calling to share that I'm a new agent with Keller Williams Realty. I thought of you because I knew you'd be someone that can help me grow my business, especially since you know my track record and my commitment to doing the very best. Now, I'd like to share my free real estate app with you. It's easy to check what's for sale and what's, price on your street. If a for sale sign goes in your neighborhood, you don't have to worry. The information will be at your fingertips. And I can send you a text with the link. Does that sound good? I'd also like to offer a real estate update on your neighborhood. You can also add additional neighborhoods you may be interested in and customize it how often you receive the update. I just need your address and you can start receiving it right away. Do you mind sharing this information with me? Thank you. Obviously, you're calling with 2 items of value, right? You have your real estate app. Real estate app will put you in the palm, right, of everyone, of your consumers if they're using it. And it's an easy way for them to be able to get real estate information and data. Guys, it's easy you have to understand, people work on benefits. What's in it for them? Yeah, I use my app so that I can have communication with you, but why should you use my app, right? What's your benefit to using the app? What's your benefit to being in my neighborhood update? Mr. Prospect, would you like to feel secure about the value of your home? Who doesn't want to feel secure about the value of their home? It's a loaded question. Of course I want to feel secure about the value of my home. Fantastic. I offer a neighborhood update. I'd like to keep you informed. As new properties come on the market, you'll know exactly what they come on for. When they sell, you'll know exactly how much they sell for. Sound good? Great. What is your contact information? Yeah. If they know someone that they want to, if someone wants to refer you, this is a script that actually you guys really need to get down because it's going to make a big difference in your business as to how people refer you business. Right? The conception is, oh, I'll give them your name and number and they'll call you. Is that the reality? That's what happens, but is that the reality? Will they call you? Maybe. Is it 100%? No. Is it 100% that they'll call you right away, or the 100% maybe they'll call you when they get into trouble with the other guy? No, right? We want to educate people the best way to refer. And the best way to refer, and I appreciate you sharing my information, my friend, I really do. But the best thing to do, if you care about your prospect, is to just get their permission for me to contact them and then share their contact information with me. But please get their permission first. And 100%, I will follow up. 100%. So I don't know if you can see the difference in the impact in your business, but when people are calling you to give people's names and numbers, you will definitely follow up. If they just pass out your business cards to their friends, the chances of them making that call, 10% maybe if you're lucky. If you really have a good business card with a compelling reason that people call you. Something to think about, right? And then also, obviously we want to strengthen the relationship with people in our database if they're local. Always offer to get together for a coffee or a lunch and catch up. It's another great way to get business. People know you, they know what you do. Sometimes they just need to be reminded. And one great way to remind people is to say, hey, dude, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go grab lunch. Oh, yeah, let's grab lunch. Oh, by the way, my coworker needs to buy a house. Here, let me talk to them. But you only get that referral if you make that call to invite them for lunch. That's actually happened to me last week. So it's real, right? You call someone and invite them for lunch and they say, my coworker wants to buy a house. I need to introduce you. Great. Get their permission and give me their contact information. I'll follow up with them today. And that's how that worked. That's how we wrote. Didn't win the offer we wrote yesterday, but we'll write again. We'll win soon. All right. So when you're calling people, you can let them know, hey, you go through the script and then let them know about what you need. What do you need from my contact, right? They're going to ask you how the market is. You're going to tell them what you need. How's the market? It's going great. One exception. Interest rates have really pulled all buyers off the fence and into homes, and we have a serious lack of inventory right now. Who do you know that wants to sell their house? We get them a great value. Right? That's the need of the day. So understand the need of the day and be able to express that specifically for what you want when you're asking for a referral. Right? People like specifics. It triggers things in their mind that otherwise they wouldn't. Right? Would you like to buy a house, or would you like to buy a house on the ocean with a view? It's a little different. It's a little different. So if you're asking with specific intentions and specific things, the results could be a little better down the road. Right? If you haven't been in touch with a while, you go through the scripts in the toolkit, they're all there for you guys, right? And we want to work with, and then also where to deal as well. Right? If it's someone you haven't talked to in a while, it's okay to apologize. Hey, it's been a while. I'd like to apologize for not staying in touch. How have you been? How's the family? Are you still working at LinkedIn? You're still at Google? Are they coming out with anything cool? Right? Cool. You know, I've just been busy growing my real estate business and working with great people like you. I wanted to share that I actually have a personal goal of selling 15 homes or helping 15 families get into the home of their dreams this year. And as you know, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. May I count on you to help me reach my goal. I'd like to share my free real estate. I'd like to share my free app with you. It's easy to check what's for sale and what prices are going for on your street or in your neighborhood. Works in the US and Canada. I know you like to go on vacation. I go on vacation all the time. You're in a cool place. You're like, man, this place is pretty cool. I wonder what homes sell for here. And then you got to go through and find the app and load it up, whatever. Not anymore. Now you have it here with your Keller Williams app, right? Now you know that wherever you are in the United States, if you have a question about, hey, what's for sale in this neighborhood, I can quickly launch my app and answer that, get that question answered. So it's the same as expressing that to your prospects. We want to get that app into all your prospects' hands, and everyone in your database should have your app on their phone. And it's up to you to put it there. It's not up to them to put it there. It's up to you to put it there. It's up to you to call and reach out and say, hey, I have this new great tool, shiny tool. It does me no good in my pocket. I need to share it with you so that everyone benefits, right? So you're not bugging people. You're giving them things of value. So, guys, take a moment when you have a moment and review the scripts that we have in the toolkit. That way you guys can feel comfortable in your prospecting and working. So we have 29 participants here, and try something here. I don't think we can with what we have. I know there's the opportunities to do breakout sessions, but I'm not sure if I'm not seeing it here. That's okay. I would challenge you guys to take time to do some role playing scripts practice. Get with a few friends in the office. You can connect via Zoom and spend 15 minutes in the morning going over some of those scripts and going back and forth and role playing. Any recap or ahas? I mean, any ahas about our discussion today? You guys are all clear. Who's still alive out there in Keller Williams land?
We've got to put in the work. Wishing isn't going to get us to know what to say. We have to keep practicing. And I think Again, that's the boring part, right? So that's why it's good to do it with a few other people.
Absolutely. Any other ahas? All right, we talked about scripts. We talked about being scripted. We talked about having some limiting beliefs and how to overcome those limiting beliefs. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about limiting beliefs and how to overcome them? Right, so bold law, what you focus on expands. Right, so if you come up with an idea, it's like, oh, well, am I bothering people? Well, what is it that I'm doing? Am I reaching out with a purpose? Am I reaching out with items of value, right? Be it my expertise, maybe I'm gonna make them an offer. I'm gonna give them an application to use or access to an update that'll keep them informed, right? Make sure that they know that whatever it is value, right? That will help overcome those limiting beliefs. How about script memorization? Some techniques on how to memorize scripts. Say things with a smile, repeating them over and over again. Yep. Yep. Any changes in your mindset after our discussion today? You guys feel differently about what was meaningful to you today?
Yeah, feeling more confident and want to do the scripting practice and get touch with our clients. Yeah, that is a positive thing. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's up to us to reach out and achieve what we're looking to achieve and take those positive steps forward, right? What tools, models, or systems can we use? How can we make them accountable? How about command? Right, that's a big tool that we can use. I challenge you guys to actually get in there and do it. Right, whenever we're adding our goals to set your career on fire, adding 10 a day, make sure they get added to command. They get put on at least the 33 touch smart plan. Right, we want to have our daily conversations, you know, make it a point to reach 10 people every day and have a dialogue about your goals. Share with them what you want to achieve. They'll help you. Can I ask for your help? Can I ask for your help? Someone asks for help, what do you say? Normally we say yes, right? Intentions. We want to help people. People that you talk to also are good people, right? They have good intentions. They want to help you. You just have to educate them on how. A, let them know that you appreciate them, you appreciate their help, and you need their help. And then what's the best way to help them? Or what's the best way to have them help you, right? Think of me when it's time to make a move. For yourself, think of me when it's time to make a move for people around you. Have those 10 handwritten notes. So I challenge you to make sure you have your handwritten notes and pen ready so that when you have that conversation with someone, you know, you don't want to recap, you finish that conversation, you write your note, recapping the conversation. If you have a question as to what to write, look in your toolkit we just showed you. It has a little script that you can follow. Hand write that out, throw a couple of business cards in there and slap it in the mail. It's omnipresence, right? Conversation, it's 2 or 3 days. What happens in 2 or 3 days? They get your handwritten note. You go pop right back to the top of their mind again. So when you do this, you really have them for about a week. So a week every quarter. That's why you're going to have mind share with everyone there. It's important to understand that. And then be sure to preview, right? Make sure you're previewing homes. Know your marketplace, because people are going to ask you about the market. When you preview homes, I highly recommend going on tour when tour comes back, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, because you get to talk to the listing agents and get greater insight as to what's going on in your marketplace. So that way, when you go to talk to your clients or talk to the people you're talking today, you have those insights as your ammunition as to what to say. Is it slow? Is it fast? Are things moving? Did you see something really cool? Right? If you see something really cool, you can take a picture of it. You can post about it. Another touch, another way to promote your business to the people that you know. It is the if you guys don't have access, to either Jacqueline or Olivia will send you guys the links, and you guys will have access to all these materials. And our scripts, understand, right? Our scripts are going to help us lead generate. They're going to help uncover motivations, help identify objections and close deals, and speak in terms the customer understands. Right? Obviously, we have our lead generation scripts. That's probably when we're thinking about scripts, those are probably the first thing that pops into mind, right? What am I going to say to help generate leads? But remember, when we're fulfilling our obligations with our clients, right? There's certain ways that we have to talk to people. There's scripts that we have to go through when we're showing property to help people identify the property that they want to buy or help people make a decision. All right, that's all a process. That's all scripts. Process that you in homes. For example, after showing a property, now I would challenge you to have a conversation with the client about the property. What did you love about this home? What did you not like about this home? What do you feel the home is worth? Whether you want to make an offer or not. Get people used to evaluating property after every house. What do you think it's worth? What do you think it's worth? And have them answer, right? But that's the script. The script is obviously we're going to ask the question of what you like about this home so we know what we can move forward with. If they like it, we can ask them if they want to make an offer. If there's something they don't like about the home, well, we're thinking of, hey, is this something that can be easily overcome? Hey, I don't like the carpets and the paint really doesn't get me. Well, other than the carpets and the paint, is there any other reason for you not to make an offer on this home? No, it's the carpet and the paint. So if I got them to paint the house the color of your choice and give you a credit or select the carpet you'd like, you'd make an offer on this home? Okay, yeah, that sounds fair. Does that make sense how that works, guys? So you have the script for every aspect. Lead generating, uncovering motivations, how to identify and overcome objections, and how to close deals. The closing and identifying objections is a dance that you're going to go back and forth with. You have to understand that. Understand how many times. How many times do you have to close someone before you let them go? What do you guys think? How many closings? How many times should you ask for business? Kenny, would you like to make an offer on this house? No, I don't like this house. What is it about the house you don't like? Well, I don't like the paint. Fantastic. If I can get the paint changed, would you make an offer on this house? That's clause number 2. No, Mark, I don't want to make an offer on this house. Why not? What's it holding back? I don't know if the house is worth what they're asking. So the value of the house is the problem. If they would offer, if we could get this house for less money, would you make an offer? Is this something you'd like to acquire? Oh yeah, for less money. Okay, great. How much would you like to make an offer on? Another clause. 3 times is what you want to try to do, right? If you find the objection, overcome the objection, close, you do this dance 3 times. After 3 times, it may become a little, I guess, pushy, if you will. And if you do it less than 3 times, then you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself out of business. Because so many times people say no, they don't know why. Or they know why, but it's not the real reason. And it's something that's not real, right? Ugly carpet is not a real objection to hold someone back from buying the perfect house. Why? Because ugly carpet is easily solvable. It's easily changeable. It's a lot easier to solve that than to find another maybe comparable house with the same floor plan. So we have to understand when to be scripted and understand that almost in every aspect of our business, right, it's going to demand some type of conversational leadership. Right? That's what scripts really are. It provides conversational leadership and confidence. All right. Any questions, guys? Concerns about the materials today? Have you guys been lead generating over the past few days? Does anyone have any successes or ahas that they'd like to share in their lead generation? Oh, Yvette, did you have something to share, or did we accidentally unmute?
Sorry, I accidentally unmuted.
Okay. Any hurdles anyone has facing in lead generating? If you guys come objections that you're having a hard time? No? No objections, no hard times? You guys must be setting appointments left and right.
I have a question.
Please.
When you call your spirit influence and you haven't talked to them for a while, I feel like the calls are like long, like 45 minutes or 30 minutes. Like, how do you make them shorter where you're not in an hour phone call?
Well, I think the best way to, the first step is to make sure that you have a very purpose for calling. So if you're purposeful and say, okay, well, my purpose is to quickly catch up and then go through and ask for my referral or ask for whatever it is that we're seeking. So that way you kind of get to the point a little sooner, possibly, to shorten that conversation. But sometimes, if you're calling old friends, it is going to be that long conversation. And you may want to embrace that sometimes, because that could result in uncovering more motivations or uncovering more reasons for people to move forward with you in that relationship.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I'm running into. A lot of people and organizations that I used to volunteer for or be part of different boards, I'm reconnecting with them, and so I'm getting 45-minute calls, and they're great conversations, but it's just taking longer than what I expected to be on the phone call.
I see. When you called, what was the purpose of the call?
Well, the purpose of the call was to connect with them and see how they're doing, like a care call. But at the same time, also share. I've been doing real estate part-time, and now since end of last year, I've been doing it full-time. So at the same time, also share with them that I am doing real estate full-time, which is something that a lot of people didn't know. So I think that's why the calls are taking longer, just because I haven't touched bases with them in maybe 6 months to a year, and now sharing what I'm doing and just sharing how they're doing. But that's the purpose of the call.
Okay. Well, you always want to make sure that you allow time for them to share, because you want to have a two-way conversation. But just be mindful of the questions that you ask, and then direct the conversation back to kind of the point that you're there for. Obviously, you're there to share with them that, hey, I'm back in real estate. Give them a reason, like the app sharing, or to get them onto your permissive list, if you will, to get your neighborhood update, to join your VIP club, or whatever that inner sanctum is of people in your database that receive your communication, right? So as you go through the conversation, or as you ask them one question about the aspect of one aspect of their life, and they finish that could take a few minutes. Then you may want to circle back. If you're working with Ford, obviously, if you're working with Ford, it's the family. The family can go pretty quick. But when you get to the occupation, they talk about work a little. That's when you come back and share what you're hoping to achieve. I'd like to get you on my list in my neighborhood update, keep you informed. I'd like to keep you informed about the value of your home. I'd like to keep you feeling secure about the value of your home. Would you be open to giving that information? And then once you achieve that, right, you get their commitment, say, okay, yeah, please keep me on the list. If they want to continue the conversation, that's when you can deflect and say, hey, I'd love to catch up with you. Do you have maybe some time next week? We can grab a coffee and talk more.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Hey, Mark?
Yes, Yvette.
Can I throw something else in there for Myrna?
Please.
So when I was doing the calls, when we first started doing the care calls, when shelter in place happened, it was great because people really wanted to talk to us, right? They were isolated and they wanted to talk to us. And then as times get busier, they want to talk less. But the case that Myrna's running into is that they sound so happy to reconnect with her, which is like, wow, wonderful. They like you, Myrna, so that's a great thing. And one of the tricks I have done and I've learned to do is to set an alarm timer. So the alarm goes off, they can hear the alarm going off. And I allow myself to say, well, you know, I excuse myself from the call and do very similar thing like you spoke about. Let's reconnect over a cup of coffee. I've got to get going right now, but I'd love to reconnect. And it just also times your calls so that you don't find yourself just like spending forever on a call and missing the purpose, which I love that you said that, because I think sometimes we make care calls and we forget that there is a purpose for us in that. And we've got to figure out how do we work the business in and how do we work getting their email or their phone number. There has to be a purpose that we achieve or goal that we achieve on that call as well. And obviously we still love our friends and love people and we're caring about them. Just a thought.
Thanks, Yvette.
You're welcome.
Try that.
Oh, this is Liza. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Liza.
Some things I've done actually is that I kind of said, hey, I was thinking of you, thought I'd give you a call. I only have like about 10 minutes, but I just want to reach out. Something like that would work, because then they have an expectation of time that's what you have and don't want to take too much of their time too. So just mine.
Thank you. Very good.
Thanks.
Love that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. So yeah, guys, command is there also to help us when you're making your calls and you're doing your generating that info. It's good to have that command open so that when you input the person's in command to help you, and also through Tech Connect. There's a variety of tutorials to help you. And guys, I challenge you. I know we want to make our calls and do what we need to do to generate our, and we challenge you to do that every day. But this week, let's really make sure that we have everything set up so that we can be effective in our calls. So I would challenge to make sure that we have everything ready today to make those calls. Do we have our command set up? Have we gotten with Jackie and Olivia to get the basics of that set up so that we can start leveraging that and inputting people into command? Do you have your mobile app set up so that if you make the call and say, hey, yeah, I'd like your mobile app, you're ready to quickly share it with them, that your systems are ready there to get that set up so you can do that. Same with the neighborhood updates. You know, make sure you're getting familiar with the command in Kelly so that you're able to put these things together. And if someone does have that, obviously they will, man. You're going to make those calls and people will connect with you. People will want to be added to your database. You want to make sure that you have the familiarity with the program to be able to do that quickly and effectively. All right. And then once we have, that's one of the ways to overcome those limiting belief features. Make sure you're adequately prepared, right? If we're adequately prepared, we can be most successful. So make sure that we're adequately prepared and that we can make our calls. Does that sound fair? And then obviously, I challenge you guys to connect with 10 people today. Connect with 10 people today so that tomorrow we have a very good class on, really going to be focused on command. Right, tomorrow's class for the Ignite series is going to be all about your database. So I obviously love for your participation tomorrow. And then that would definitely resonate. Let's see here. We had some questions in the chat. These scripts unreasonable market price are not some scripts about marketing and pricing. Scripts about pricing for the market. I know there's some that we have that we, when we're doing our listing presentations, that'll help people kind of facilitate and see things as far as, you know, where people are, what percentage of list price to get the greatest amount of eyes, so forth and so on. So when we have those tools available to us, we can leverage those to help us help our clients understand the pricing, right? Why is it important to price well? Why is it important? Why is it important? Well, why is it important to price your? Maureen asked the question. Maureen, why is it important to price your house right?
Well, we have that great pyramid, and it shows there will be more market pressure, hence more offers, if that's priced right at the target. If you put it too high, you may not get any response, and then it sits there and looks stale, which is a problem people have. They see it so many days on the market, then they think there's something wrong. But people have a lot of sellers that maybe have a unique house like we do in certain areas. They're so used to their remarkable house that hasn't been cleaned up with deferred maintenance as so remarkable as it was. And they think they don't understand deferred maintenance. They don't see it. So to get it in shape to what it once was, you know, or what it should be to sell it at the price they want.
Right. Sounds reasonable to me, right? We want to understand that the pricing is, if the price it well, it's in their benefit, right? Express that to them. It's in your benefit to price the house properly. If it's not priced properly, then we won't get people to come to the door. There's nobody for us to negotiate with. There's nobody to negotiate with. We can't. All right. So,
well, I have a question for anybody that has it. So what do you say when they say, well, it's sort of like, well, you don't believe in me if you're putting it, that you just don't believe this house. They think it's fabulous. And they go, well, you just don't believe in me. Maybe we just didn't go for it if you can't get that price. It's the realtor's fault. So I think that you can tell them till you're blue in the face, but they've got to get it cleaned up. So what does anybody else say is what I want to know. When you say, well, look at all the comps, we've compared everything, this is what we need to do, and they still believe, you know, they don't have a garage, or there's clutter or whatever it is, they just can't get over, they can't get past that. And does anybody else tell them, hey, well, you don't have a garage, or we've gone over this, you know, it's like you have to look at apples and apples. So I wondered if anybody else, how they dealt with that.
Mark, can I jump in?
Absolutely.
So, hi, Maureen, it's Yvette.
Yeah.
So, I just believe in facts, right? So, I teach a class on negotiating for your best commission for yourself and the client, and you've got to give them facts. You know, they can argue with your opinions, and they can argue with what they saw on Zillow, but when you give them facts, then they can't argue with that. I mean, they can, but then that's when you know you're dealing with somebody unreasonable, and you need to walk away so that you're putting in your time with somebody who's actually sane.
You sound like my husband. No, I did give him the facts. I guess that we're at the point where I just need to let the dust settle.
But there's different ways of giving facts, right? So I can show you something afterwards offline to show you how I give facts is different than the average agent. But what I try to do is give them real live examples. So if there's something in their area, I pull it up and I look for the failures, right? And so I give them the failures and I show them, I said, hey, let me pull up example number 1. This is a person who decided they were going to price it their own way. They didn't listen to their realtor. I'm going to assume they didn't listen to the realtor, and the realtor was sane. And then I'm going to let them know, and here's how they priced it. Look how long it sat on the market. Do you know what everybody thought? This is what they thought, and this is the result. They didn't get the price they wanted. So when you can show them hardcore facts, not tell them in your head, but pull up
Yeah.
that MLS. Pull up the hot
Nah,
sheet.
you know what I have, but I think I'm going to break it down. So I've done that and I've gone through it with him. He's just it's stuck in his head. So I think I'm going to pull up all the
Break it.
withdrawals. Yeah,
Yeah, break.
you're going out. I'm losing everybody. Well, that was good. Thanks,
We got
Yvette.
Thank you, Yvette. Yeah, so I mean, the facts will tell, the benefits will sell, but the people need to understand it. Sometimes you have to ask the question, right? If there's a deficiency for, like, we had a situation in San Francisco. The seller wanted a little over $4 million for his property, but it didn't have a garage. And the question is, well, in the city's history, has never a house without a garage sold for what you're asking. Why is your house special? What makes your place different? Well, my house is remodeled. Fantastic. Well, here are the homes selling for, and look at the pictures. Those are remodeled. Those are the facts. That's what's reality is there, right? So a lot of the pricing questions, I mean, a lot of people live in fantasy land. It's sometimes our turn to bring them to reality land. And the only way we can do that is with numbers and data.
Yep.
That's the only way you're going to convince someone otherwise. And a lot of times they just don't understand because they haven't seen it. So it's up to us to share our expertise in analyzing the markets and saying, okay, this is comparable, this isn't, and this is why. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think I've done all of that, and I've been really nice for like a really long time. And he didn't have the money he wanted. He thought he could get a small loan to fix like the paint and things, but he lives his paint. So we're sort of, I think I'm going to pull it up again and bring that referral over, but he wouldn't let us come over. So it's like, you can see there's something there. He didn't want us to come over. He's sort of a do-it-yourselfer. So I think I'm going to let the dust settle for a while and then go over.
Hey, eventually it'll appreciate. He'll get what he wants. Maybe next year.
All right, good.
Time solves all problems. Time solves all problems.
All right, cross your fingers.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys very much for bearing with me today. We had a few technical glitches, but hopefully there was some benefit to learning about scripts and understanding. I hope you guys will take what you learned today and actually apply it into your business. And when we come back tomorrow, we're going to be with Srini and Maha. They're going to talk more about setting up your database and feeding your database. It's going to be an amazing course. And after their course, I'd like to get with you guys and learn from you some of your experiences in communicating with your database. I challenge you to talk to 10 people, or at least attempt to talk to 10 people. At least spend the next hour, right? We're committed till noon. Courses. Let's spend the next hour, set up our database, find a few people to have a conversation with, and go through a Ford script. Try to get a referral. Try to have something to share with me tomorrow, so that when we ask the questions, we're not in the cricket hall. I'd love for that to happen. That would be awesome. So thank you guys. Thank you, Yvette and Kenny and Lisa and Myrna and Amanda and everyone that shared, and Brian that shared with us today and participated. And thank you all for being with us and taking a moment to help build your business. So I appreciate
Mark,
it very much. Yvette.
Yeah, can I just make a quick introduction here?
Yes, please.
There's somebody on the call who I haven't seen on the call for a while. She's a friend of mine who I love dearly. It's Liza Fong. And Liza is also, I just want to also point this out about that Liza is also in charge of ARIA. So, and I think most people know what ARIA is, but if not, could you just make a quick introduction, your position and all of that, Liza, on ARIA?
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Liza, and I'm part of KW, but I'm also the luxury chair for ARIA, and it stands for the Asian Real Estate Association of America. It's got like 17,000 members, and it's across the whole nation and into Canada. There's 41 chapters that are existing, and it's a great organization to be a part of. It's basically, the mission is to help home ownership for the AAPI community, which stands for Asian American Pacific Islanders. If you want to find out a little bit more information, reach out to me. I can give you my number. I'll put it into the box, but I can explain more. Don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's a great organization to be a part of. There's a lot of network referral, just like KW, a lot of love there, and really encourage people to, come and check it out. So let me send you my contact information. And if you want to kind of get involved or want to know a little bit more information, please reach out to me. Love to talk more about it.
And Liza, I will talk to Ellen Wang about getting you on the calendar so that people can come and hear maybe in a session, okay?
Oh, sure. And just a little bit, besides being on the national board, I'm actually the current VP for our local chapter, which is in San Francisco Peninsula. I will be the president in 2021. So need more information. So it's going to be exciting. I definitely want you guys to come on board. I want to put some, programs on, and people can kind of help teach or whatnot. Want to kind of reach out more to the community, so we can kind of put some first-time home buyers program together. I'm working on some things like that. So we have more KW representing. It's just not just KW, but it's all, realtors and lenders all across. Great way to network with more people. And yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, Liza. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Yvette. Thanks for the intro.
Thank you, Yvette. And thank you all for joining us today. Hey, I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye. Bye, Mark. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.